seeing him?
I hope so.
Hold on, you gotta minimize what's up here. Oh.
You gotta stop sharing.
There you are. Hey, DJ, I'm
Right.
team leader here. Welcome.
Hey, how are you?
I'm great. How are you? Thanks for being here.
Yeah, this is awesome, man. This is so surreal. Just I got into real estate 2.5 years ago. So to be talking to people about something in general is amazing. So yeah, really excited to help you guys.
Yeah, well, the floor
Um,
is yours. We got you on the big screen now, so it's all you.
awesome. All right, I'm gonna share a slide deck. And I should have done this there.
And DJ, will you share with everybody who you are?
Yeah. So my name's DJ. I'm in Northeast Tennessee in Johnson City. Do you guys ever heard that song by by Darius Rucker? He did a remake of somebody else, but old show medicine grip. So anyway, yeah, head down south to the Cumberland Gap, Johnson City, Tennessee. Yes, that's where I'm at now. East of Gatlinburg. That's probably something you guys are familiar with. So small little metro, about 450,000 people in our area. So, let's talk validity. Why in the world would a guy who looks like he's 13 talk to you about working with senior care partners, right? What is that? That doesn't make any sense. So, I'll just back it up a little bit, tell you about how I got into real estate. It was not by any, it was not a plan I had. I was a nursing home CEO. I had done that job for 9 years. And one day my boss came in and said, "Hey man, I'm sorry we can't retain you anymore." And I was let go. I had 3 kids at the time. My wife and I have 4 kids now, but my youngest was a month and a half old. And so I just was pretty stressed out trying to figure out what to do. So my brother-in-law, who's an agent, actually he lives in Gwinnett, which if I understand right, that's right by y'all, right?
Yeah, yeah, we're in Gwinnett County. Do you know what city he lives in?
Lawrenceville.
Okay,
Is that
yeah,
right?
that's close to us. Yeah.
Trust me, I've tried numerous times to get him over there, but anything I talk to him about real estate, he just shuts his ears. So, whatever, that's fine. Um, but yeah, he's like, "Hey man, you should get into real estate." And I was like, I used to make fun of him and call him a paper pusher. And the irony that I got into real estate is very funny. But yeah, so he said, "Hey man, get into real estate." So I sold 30 homes my first year. I sold 30 homes again last year, and this year I'm on pace to do a little bit more. And so as I was starting to figure out, the basics, we all know listings are really important. I started to remember back when I was in healthcare, people would come and ask me in my position if they knew a good realtor because they needed to sell their family member's house. And in 9 years, no one ever came to me and talked to me about being a realtor and giving referrals. So I started working really hard on building a system. I didn't know it at the time, but I started working my local people that I knew because of my past history in healthcare to work on them, to talk to them about how I'm the main person to refer to. I obviously had an unfair advantage, but just because of my job history, that didn't mean anything because these positions turn over every 18 months. So the people that I used to work with, most of them are gone because they've moved on to different jobs. So don't take my success as, well, that's, a one off. He had already been working there. No, I've met new people already who I've gotten referrals from. And if I could give you any sort of metrics in my small market, I'm getting 2 listings per month right now that this is working with. So I know Keller Williams really likes to give you like a big, like, do this and you'll get 2 listings per month. Do this stuff. And in my $450,000 place or 450,000 person place, I'm getting listings and they're good listings and they're going under contract, and closing. I mean, pretty significantly. So, I'll pause there for any questions we may have. I want this to be interactive. I know how team meetings, sometimes one person talks the whole time. So I want to make sure I open the floor up in case you guys are like, okay, help me understand this. I want to make sure we can be interactive as much as possible.
So when you go to, when you say you work with the facilities, are you going to the role that you used to hold? Are you going to that individual? And then if whatever individual that is, are you bringing them like a flyer or content or what, like, what does that look like?
Yep, we'll get into that. Great question. So I put on here, just before that, I'll put on here the silent market. I do that on purpose because this is not a type of marketing strategy that a lot of people find sexy. It's not something you're going to post on social media and people are going to be like, wow, this guy's driving a white BMW. He's crushing it, right? But this is a residual business flow that the interest rate does not affect because people will always need healthcare. They will always need the asset and the money in their home to pay for their care. The economy matters nothing to this market. It doesn't matter what's going on. You will always have listing referrals from this because people will always be getting older and need care at a higher level. If you guys know anything about what's going on related to the baby boomer generation, we're about to see the one of the largest massive transfers of wealth ever. A big portion of those assets that they're referring to in wealth are homes. Well, if some of the family members can't take on the home, what do you think they're going to do with the home? So really, we're just being opportunistic for things that we already know are going to happen. These people will get sick. They won't be able to age in place. They will need to go to a higher level of care.
DJ, I have a question.
Yes.
How have you worked, coming from this, I guess, demographic, partnering with estate attorneys and that sort of thing? Like, do you have a group specifically that you partner with to help support another branch of how you're trying to serve your clients?
Yes. So honestly, by the time they get to me, the paperwork's already drawn up. And we are, I think from what I'm gathering, Georgia is a attorney state. We're just a title company state, so attorneys' involvement is relatively low. To your
Okay.
specific question, though, I do have partners, but there's something totally different that it's so simple that you would be like, oh, that makes total sense. The partners are junk removal people, movers, boxers, estate salespeople, and cleaners. And that goes into what I offer in my services because your ultimate goal is that they make one phone call and everything is taken care of. Because if you go, and this is where I'll pause and say the market we're trying to corner is the assisted living market. That's your low hanging fruit because those are the people that need the higher level of care, but they're still functional. They are probably at that point, they have a home, they own it outright, but they need to pay for it. The assisted livings are cash basis. They're like apartments. So they're not billing insurance. Normally they may have long-term care insurance, but there's going to be maybe some sort of supplemental payment they have to make. So the cash basis people, they see around me, rent is about $5,000. I can only imagine in your part of America, I think it may be a little bit more. So that's why we need to focus on these people because they need the money to pay for their care, right? Like they need that cash to be able to pay. So we already covered why. Let's cover where. So in your area, there are, and I can only imagine again, there's 30 assisted livings by me. There's going to be 100 in the greater Atlanta area. So if you're going to start with where do I need to go? Start with the one closest to you that you're going to be able to get to as much as you can. Because the only way this works is if you are building a relationship with them, just like everything else in real estate. This is no different than a business to business relationship with a estate attorney, like you had said, a financial advisor, a divorce attorney. This is the same principle packaged up, and I put a different label on it. And I gave it my own spin because of what I know about the industry. So how do I connect? What I do is I go in and I say, I'll pick on Sarah. Sarah Meslowski. I'll say, hey, I'm Sarah. I am a local realtor. I realize as I'm working with a lot of people that are downsizing, they're asking me for referrals for assisted livings, but I've realized I know nothing about your business. And what I need to do is to come in and to take a tour so I can be educated on what these types of facilities offer so that I could give my clients the best advice as we venture into what their next steps are. And the people are going to say, oh my God, absolutely. Please come in and take a tour. I would absolutely love that because that's their goal. And I'm sorry to back it up one more time. We're trying to talk to the director of marketing, the director of marketing, the director of admissions. These are the people that we want to connect with because these are the decision makers. Those are the people that call me and say, hey, I just gave so-and-so your phone number. They should give you a phone call. What's even better is when they give me their information because they already vetted that lead for me and they confirmed that it was okay that I gave them a call. I mean, that's just a hot lead right there, right? Like we just went to Waffle House and they served us something smothered and covered and we're ready to go, right? Like, I mean,
Love it.
you can't get any better than that, right? These are motivated sellers. Where are they going to go? They're moving into a facility. They got to sell, right? And this is where the opportunity to build that relationship with the senior is. I will tell you, these are difficult transactions. Probably 50% of these people I'm having to get wet signatures on documents for. I mean, that's difficult. I have 4 children. They're 6, 4, 2, and 5 months. So my life is a little hectic. Thank God I have an amazing wife who is supportive, but I do need that sometimes, like you need to go and get a wet signature. So be mindful of this, right? Like don't sign up for something that you aren't willing to give 100% for, because on the other side of this is that when they refer to you, they know that you're going to take care of this client 100%, right? So we've talked about why, we've talked about where, we talked about how do we connect. We're asking for a tour. We're trying to come in. And our ask at the end of the tour is, wow, this is a great facility. I would love to figure out how I can be your main referral for realtors or for your realtor needs, your real estate needs. So they're going to say, oh, I have an aunt that's a realtor. My niece is a realtor, this and that, right? I can only imagine in Atlanta, it's maybe a little saturated. Is that right? Are there a lot of realtors there? I think I would say, yeah. From what my brother-in-law tells me. But that doesn't matter because it only matters about who's the most qualified person, right? So I did go out and get my SRES degree or a certification from NAR. That's your senior real estate specialist degree. I thought the class was great, but I didn't learn anything I didn't already know or that wasn't logical. So again, not downgrading the class. I think it's great from a marketing perspective, but I don't know that you're not going to learn anything that you couldn't learn from talking to your referral source, right? But it's really great to say, well, that's awesome. You know some realtors, but how many are senior real estate specialists, right? That's just one more notch on your belt. How many of your people have a system set up to make sure that wet signatures can be accommodated? How many people know how to communicate to both a family member and a senior to make sure everything is taken care of and well communicated, right? So we're building these notches in the belt to make sure that we're the only person that they can refer to for working with seniors, because it is a niche market, but they are honestly very fun to work with and they're always very appreciative. Maybe out of every 10 referrals I get, there's one that's kind of like borderline, has some cognitive distortions that we need to bring family members in. But that's why I always recommend to make sure that, when you go on the listing appointment, you talk to them and say, hey, is there somebody that I need to communicate with that, is your like main caregiver that I could just make sure that if something happens that I can get with them. That's like I would encourage you anytime you work with a senior, whether it's in this type of setting or not. Okay. Pause for questions. Anything so far?
DJ, I'll just comment that I just came from a symposium with a guy that does a lot of projections and specifically talks about new construction. But in this particular case, he broke down the different markets, and this is the highest demand market demographic in the country right now. So
Mhm.
when I found out this was the class, the thing we were doing today, I ran over here as soon as they were done because this fits perfectly with what the demand is right now.
Mhm.
So I'm just a comment. I'm really interested in what you've got to say.
Awesome. No, I'm excited to hear that. Normally people don't say that when we say, let's talk about senior care partners. So I'm excited to hear that. And my goal in all this, I'll bring it out further. Agent referrals were a huge source of my business last year, 42%. And I was looking to grow that more. And I started to realize I'm really good at one thing, and that's talking to these buildings. And how can I grow my relationships with agents organically through giving y'all value first, so that if you guys are ever thinking of anything in Northeast Tennessee, you think to call me first because I gave you so much value. I helped you start something in your brain to think about, hey, let me take DJ system and make it better for me. Because this is all just a conversation. What I do may not work for you guys, and you may think, well, I would like to do it this way. There's no one size fits all type of thing. Every market's different. Shoot, we're going to get to a point where I talk about my Facebook group. I would love that we would have like open dialogues on that Facebook group so we could see what's working in Idaho, what's working in Maine, what's working in Atlanta. And then we all kind of gather together and mastermind on how we can all serve this population. Because in 2023, it was either 61 or 63% of sellers were 55 and over. So it's not even like these are metrics that make sense. Like this will always be that way because, again, of raw numbers. There's just more baby boomers than there are of my generation. So there's just always going to be more home sellers in that market.
Woohoo, baby boomers.
DJ, you might have already said this. I know it says Northeast Tennessee. Where specifically is your market center? Where do you work from?
Johnson City. So the very east tip where we share the border with North Carolina and Virginia.
Yep.
So me and my team, we cover Northeast Tennessee and Southwest Virginia. And I'll have on the last slide, I think it's right here. There we go. I have all this stuff that we could connect with there. Okay, so what do I do to follow up? I've created a special 8x8 that I tweaked it just a little bit. And actually, let me see if my assistant had texted me about that. I will make sure I get that out to you guys today. Actually, I hope, well, let me see if we can go to this real quick. Yeah, here we go. Okay. Can you guys see this graphic?
Yes.
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 Oh, very good. Awesome. That works out very well. Okay, so 8x8 to stay connected with your senior care partners. So first thing we're going to do, we're going to have an in-person meeting. We're going to ask for that tour, and we're just going to talk. I'm not going to tell you anything to talk about because it needs to be organic. You need to figure out how to grow a relationship. You're not going to get a referral after one day. If you do, that's amazing, but don't go into this meeting thinking that's going to happen. This is a relationship building process that if you spend, in my opinion, 18 months growing these relationships, your phone will ring every week with people that are motivated to sell. So I do not give you quick wins, get rich quick schemes. I give you systems and a model that's going to make your phone ring for 4 or 5 years down the road. That's my game plan. Let me work as hard as I can on the front end so that in 5 years I don't have to work as much. Does that sound familiar to anybody? That sounds great to me. That's what I want to do. So, all right, one day after the meeting, we're going to send a handwritten note. This is just to be different, right? Thank you so much for your time, Mr. and Mrs. Marketer. I'm really excited to grow our relationship. Put your business card in there. Right. That'll be different, right? They meet with a lot of vendors. How are you going to be different, right? Take that again. This is the way you take it. You figure it out for yourself. Make it different. Make it better. Share it with me. Help me make it better. 1 week after the meeting, leave their facility a Google review. Make sure it's 5 stars. If it's a 5-star building, if it's not a 5-star building, Don't leave them a bad review. And did somebody say something I couldn't hear? And I'm sorry.
No, we were just giggling at what you said.
Okay.
Yeah.
And then send them an email and say, hey, I just want to let you know I had a great time touring your building. I left y'all a 5-star review. Hopefully that helps you gain some more admissions, right? No, how many people are, if we get a Google review, how many people are just over the moon that we did that? They gave that, right? I'm tickled when I get that email that says somebody left you a Google review. I'm just like, oh my word, thank you so much. Like that really helps out, right? Again, this is the same thing. We're just going to apply it to somebody else. Coming from the operations side, we would have monthly calls about our Google ratings. And if we drop below a certain number, we had to put an action plan in place to get it above a certain number. So if you're helping them get off of an action plan, they're going to definitely remember you. 1 week after touch 2, we're going to call to rehash what you went over in your initial meeting. So essentially we're just going to touch base again. Hey, it's DJ, just calling to go over. Hey, I'm a senior real estate specialist. Let me tell you about my system that I put in place. Give me a referral. We'll make sure we take care of the cleaning after they move their stuff out. If they need help boxing, we have people that can help them with that. If they need help moving, we have contacts that can help them. If they need help with junk removal, we have contacts that can help them. Again, your goal is that one phone call can save them all this coordination. So that who looks good with that? The marketer that put them in contact with you. Because they're going to follow up and say, oh, hey, how was it working with Sarah Maslowski? Was she amazing? Oh, yeah, it was no stress whatsoever. She took care of every single thing. I honestly got too much communication from her. I can't say enough good things. We do that already, right? Like if we have a listing process, we're doing this already, but these are people that really need our help because moving mom or dad into a building, it's very emotional. It's not fun. No one wants to do it, but they need to do it because they need a higher level of care. Do I have a hard stop time?
Yes, we need to be done, about 10 till, 5 till at worst case. Are you good?
Okay. Yeah, no, that's perfect. I'll go over this and we'll end with questions. 1 week after touch forward, text the people you met with saying something like, hey, just want to make sure you have a fantastic day, right? Just another touch point so they remember you. 1 week after touch 5, email the collateral you dropped off on week 4. Ooh, I think we missed something. Let me read it. I'm sorry. Well, I think it was week 3 right here. We should have dropped some collateral off. We'll get that changed. I'll make sure we send you out the right one. So again, this is the digital version of the collateral in case they need to print it off or email it to somebody that emailed them. We just want them to have a file saved on their computer. 1 week after touch 6, call to schedule a coffee to get them out of the office. I put that in quotes because we want them to see us as a joyful person to interact with. We don't want to be the person that's always just trying to sell something. We want to grow a relationship, and you got to get them off of their turf so they could feel not as stressed out. Anytime someone would be like, hey, let me take you to lunch today, I would be like, yes, I need to get out of here. This is a sane asylum. These people are crazy. Not the clients I'm talking, or not the residents. I'm talking the staff members that I'd have to deal with. 1 week after touch 7, send a handwritten letter detailing why you are the best person for the referrals. Again, this is just building validity, telling them, rehashing your system. If you say it 4 times, they're going to remember. If you say it once, it's you whispered and you're praying to God, they remember you. I will say when I go into offer them, I talk about my listing presentation. I talk about why I'm different. I give them something of value to give on my behalf, right? So let me dive into that a little bit. I tell that marketer, we'll just hypothetically say the marketer's name is Sarah. I'm talking to Sarah. Hey, Sarah, please work with me. Let me tell you everything I'm going to do to make sure the senior is well taken care of. By the way, because you're referring them to me, I'm going to make sure that I give them X, but you're the one that gets to deliver that. In my market, the X that we talk about a lot is a cleaning before the showings happen or before we go to market. Super simple, costs $250 in my area, maybe more around you guys, maybe less. But essentially, I've never met a senior who wasn't so worried about having a clean home. So when we could take that off their plate and the family knows they don't have to clean anything, and the senior knows they don't have to clean anything, they're so appreciative. But Sarah, the marketer, is the one who gives it on my behalf. Hey, work with DJ because he's going to make sure he gives you a cleaning beforehand because of our partnership, right? Now that X is anything you want it to be: junk removal, pressure washing the driveway, a new roof, right? Probably not a financially good decision, but whatever you want it to be, right? You get what I'm pointing at? Like whatever you want that X to be, put that in there and make sure they know. It's like a coupon. If you go to Burger King and you have a buy one, get one free on a burger, are you more likely to get some French fries and some Cokes and some other stuff, right? Because you're getting a discount. But that's why we're going to drive the business. The marketer, Sarah, is the one that gives that on your behalf. Sarah now gets to look good because she's given her clients something of value. And now you get to have the opportunity to sit down for one more listing presentation. And if your stuff is good, you have a 75% chance to win over, right? Okay. I'll stop for any questions you guys may have.
DJ, I have a question. So in all these services that you mentioned, the movers, boxers, junk removal, cleaners, and estate sale connections, are you upfronting the expense for that and taking, or like, is it you just eating that as part of your commission? Like, how are you doing that?
No, I just connect them with them. My goal is to one day to own those companies so that I can recoup those referrals with proper disclosure, of course. But I right now I don't pay for that. I do pay for the cleaning, and I'll pay for like a one-off junk removal if there's just something too big and the family's like they came in from out of town and they're like, DJ, I'm so sorry. There's just no possible way I can take care of this. Then I'll step in and say, hey, listen, no worries. I'll take care of that part. Don't worry. But I don't offer that up on the front end, because sometimes I feel like that's an open checkbook, and I want to. And I will say my prices are very different than y'all. Our average price point is $250. So
Yeah.
there's not a lot of meat on the bone, but so long-winded way of saying no. I try my best to connect them. That's my value proposition. I'll connect you with good people that will pick up the phone and show up when they're supposed to show up. I don't know about you guys, but around us, that in and of itself is a fantastic thing to give.
Yeah, we have some great relationships here too, so I totally get it for sure.
Is there a question in the chat?
Nope. Is that the one you posted? Yeah, yeah.
Okay.
DJ, I have a question. So I know, like in your area, there's Brookdale. That's one of the facilities that are in that area, and we have those here. Do you find it when it's those larger corporate-owned managed facilities that they're a little harder to get into than the onesies and twosies, or if you treat them all the same?
Treat them all the same. It's all about relationship.
Okay.
Brookdale has a partnership through senior some financial services that they offer a pay after you close referral program for 25 or 30%. And I joined it and I've gotten nothing. But I've gotten way more from the connections I've made. So that I will always say, just like anything else, spend your money on your database, spend your money on your relationships. Those are the things that will make your phone ring.
Yep. Awesome.
Hey, quickly, I want to make sure my Facebook group, I have a lot of masterminds. I share a lot of information. My 8x8, I'll post on there. I'll also make sure it gets to Sarah and y'all's team. But it's listing leads through senior care, or listing leads from senior care. Listing leads from senior care partners. Look that up on Facebook. That's my way again. I don't put paywalls on this stuff. This is all free. This is my mastermind. This is my value to you guys. This is how I'm trying to build connection. Again, ideally, I want to make sure that this thing is like, we grow it so that you guys mastermind and make it good for you.
Awesome. Any other questions? Anybody?
after you finish, you go through your 8x8s, and let's say you're still working on building that relationship with the admissions, whoever it is. Do you just keep going week by week, or is there a point where I don't know, I guess where you stop?
No. So great question. Monthly, after that, I try and connect with them. Popping by will always be the best practice. FaceTime, see them in person. Your phone will ring if you do this. If you give yourself 18 months to really do this, and I know that sounds outrageous. I know we're so inundated with quick hits and do this to get 5 listings tomorrow. But again, this will keep your phone ringing if you continue to have that relationship and support the building, to give back to the building, to connect with them, to help them grow. Your phone will ring. You will get opportunities for listings.
Good.
Awesome. All right. Well, thank you, DJ.
Yeah.
And I'll email you as well, so you have my email address. Really quickly, are you in Brittany Urzel's office?
I am in Brittany Ezel's office. Yeah.
Okay, so Brittany, y'all, your market center, our market center, tied for number 10 for the Southeast region, and because Brittany sat at my table, and my husband is from Johnson City. He went to ETSU, and his family
Okay.
in Bristol and Bluntville. So
Awesome.
yeah, you're probably again somewhere in some of our relatives' backyard. So anyway,
Right.
small world. Yeah. Sarah didn't tell me that's where you were from, so I was just laughing when you said that. I was like, oh, I know that area very well.
Yeah. God,
Yeah.
this is such a large screen of my face. I'm seeing that right now. That is that is uncomfortable.
Camera, yeah.
I know. My word. Okay. I could have done without that.
Yeah, no, it's all good. Well, I really appreciate your time, and yeah, if you like, we'll get on your Facebook group, but as you like are coming across stuff, just if you'll share in your Facebook group, and I'll make sure to share it with all of our agents. And we also record this, and so it'll go on our YouTube channel, so all of our agents here can, so you might get some reach out and that sort of thing. But I appreciate you and Sarah connecting and doing this for us, so we really appreciate it.
Yeah, I in closing, I'll say if you guys have any questions in my Facebook group, I have a Calendly link to book a 15-minute call. Again, this is not a pay program. This is really my way of growing relationships with other agents. When I first started, there were a ton of people that helped me out, so this is my way to pay it back.
Awesome. Good for you. We really appreciate it, and glad we got connected.
Yeah. All right. I'm gonna pop up. I'm just gonna hit end. That's not gonna mess anything up for anybody, right?
Nope. Thank you.
Okay. Cool.
Good.
Awesome. Great meeting y'all.
Thanks, DJ.
Well, it'll turn the